What's up, guys? I wanted to give you guys a little um, video here on fuel socks on the 6.5s. Um, Fortunately, I've removed quite a few of them over the years. Or unfortunately, I don't know which way to put it. I guess unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately would make it better. So this is an AC Delco fuel sending unit, and you can tell because it's built with little, extra stuff on them. They're made a little bit better. This hose right here actually goes all the way down into the fuel, so it can't suck air if the tank's real low. The float is got this funny kind of beige colored plastic. The GM factory stuff tends to always have this kind of stuff on it. The whole thing with these are the floats are a little bit more accurate for a little bit longer time versus all the aftermarket ones that aren't AC Delco. They tend to be very terrible, and you end up having to get Leroy Diesel's fuel Metrum rod, which is a nice, setup, but it ends up costing you the same amount as getting an AC Delco sender, but it does last longer. But with the AC Delco sending unit, you get the correct fuel sock if you want to stay with your stock fuel sock. The only problem with this is it has a little spring-loaded kind of diaphragm. I don't know if you can see that right there. And it'll actually, if this sock gets plugged, which is a little bit more of a place for fuel to get sucked in right there, I feel like. But once it gets plugged, it'll actually suck fuel right through that little diaphragm right there. And then it'll completely, clog your lift pump or then into your fuel filter and so on and so forth and do damage to your injection pump. This design comes on a lot of Dorman aftermarket units. It's not too bad. I've run them for a few years here and there. They're not the worst thing on earth. They're not the best thing on earth. These have like a little thing in the bottom of them, so that way when it actually goes all the way onto right here, it'll actually suck all the way down sometimes, and that'll help with it not being starved for fuel, but it's not going to fix that problem. Now, if you do have one of these, it's all you got. What I would tend to do to them when I would put them on trucks is I would actually put a hose clamp right here on the tube here, the pickup tube. That way this can't actually get sucked any further on. And I know it sounds crazy, but these don't have a great interference fit, so I've never seen one come off, even when trying to blow air through them. I've never seen one blown off. I've only seen them sucked on, and I've tried to blow them off before. I haven't had any luck. I don't know if they weren't clogged enough, but they were clogged enough where the truck wouldn't run, and I haven't been able to blow them off. I've been able to blow them out so I can get the truck running into my shop for customers. If they have air at their house, or if I have a friend that I've even brought my air tank or just a small air compressor to blow it out, just so they don't end up with a tow job. This one comes on a lot of Spectra units, and this is literally just a gas sock. It's terrible. Don't ever reinstall one of these. This one right here is better. This is unfortunately one that was purchased from somebody, and they didn't have the truck in service with this on it very long. They decided to go to an inline filter, which is where I'm getting to. But this one can't at least clog and then have a diaphragm suck in and ruin whatever's after it, whether it be the lift pump or so on and so forth. So this one isn't too bad if you're going to run a sock. This one isn't too bad, and this one is just junk. I mean, it's just, don't use it. Get a $10 inline filter with some hose at a minimum compared to using this. Do not use this. There's mesh in it. If you look right there, there's some like plastic nylon netting mesh, and it literally sucks up some stuff, and it'll actually plug up like that. It'll actually suck up and actually stop against it. And I've seen these actually to the point where they looked similar to this material right here, but they were just like this, and they just, once the tank starts to rust and everything, even if just a little bit of rust gets in there from whatever, some water, whatever, it tends to just get sucked into the tank and left there because they're in the socks in the tank, and there's no way to get anything out of the tank for it to be brought out of the system. Whereas if you have a spin-on filter like Leroy sells, or a cartridge kind of reusable, washable filter like John Faddis sells, which they're both great designs. I think that there's always good to have options, and they're your best options. Opposed to this, they're not super expensive, they're not super inexpensive, but they're better than this stuff, any of it, right? That's why I say the inline cheapo filters, if you can't afford anything else for the time being, or you're stuck, they're the best. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you go to the parts store or you look it up on Amazon, buy 10 of them, because if you got rust in the tank, it's just going to keep plugging them, and get good at changing them, because unless you put some kind of a spin-on filter that's easy to change on the side of the road, which is what I recommend, or some kind of a washable filter, which I don't recommend if you've got a rust issue in your tank and you can't afford a tank, and the only thing you can afford is putting a filter system in it before the lift pump. I would say the spin-on filter, that you can get it from John. I believe John does have the part numbers to sell it to you. I could post them, but I'd rather you buy it from John or find them. They're simple part numbers. The filter number I think I have somewhere around here. I can give you the filter number because they're going to give it to you anyway, so that's not a big deal. In the filter bosses are cheap. You can get them on Amazon. They're like $30. And then there's some fittings, some barb fittings you're going to need from your local hardware store. I'm not going to name all the common names, but anyways, guys, this is going to help you guys out. Don't want to make a lengthy video about it. This is just, don't use the factory stuff. Even if it comes with it, don't use it. Use an inline one, because whatever little bit of rust that's in your tank, whether it gets there from your install, gets there from you ran out of fuel and you used a rusty tank to top it off because it's all you ever had in the back of your truck, and you walked 10 miles to get there, kind of thing. If you get any kind of rust in your tank, it's going to stay there till it gets worse and worse and worse, and sometimes rust can actually create more rust in the tank. And the finer it gets, these are only 100 micron filters, so 100 microns, it's going to go through that, it's going to go through your lift pump, and then it's going to be into your 14 micron stock filter, which I recommend changing out to at least a 2 or 3 micron filter. And once it gets into those components, and it gets anywhere past that, you have a fine mesh filter, like real fine mesh, right into the inlet of the injection pump. But you never know. Some guys like to tear those off, and you don't know what you're getting if you buy a used truck and you've not searched throughout the truck at all. And so, just don't use them unless you're like absolutely have to. But I would not, And then the filter, which, don't mind my dirty garage. I know this is actually my home shop. The filter is a 33239. I believe this is like a, that filter's junk now. I believe this is somewhere in the vicinity of like and it's just a spin-on, and it goes right up, you fill the thing with fuel, and I think it's like a 30 or a 40 micron filter, which is much finer, but it has all this media. That's a pretty tall filter. That's a boat prop right there, and it's a pretty tall filter. That's a diesel 911 bottle. It's a pretty tall filter, so it has all that filter media to get plugged if you're trying to, not have stuff stay in your tank. This is your best option. It's the best one. And then obviously I've got 2 trucks running these now, I think, and I'm gonna convert them all eventually. Once they all go through them, I convert them one by one. I don't care. Obviously you got your Wix XP filters, your spare ones. But anyways, I just wanted to show you those, and hopefully this helps somebody. I can't say it's going to help everybody, because some people are helpless. But if this helps anybody, I'll be happy. So, Truck Technician here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you have a better option, post it, because you never know. I'm into learning every day. I'll learn something new every day. That's my opinion to everyone. If you learn something new every day, then you'll be the most knowledgeable guy ever. So, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later, guys. Goodbye.